Today's vlog is brought to you by Absolute Charm Vacation Rentals.
Jack, do you see these cats?
We got our cat a kitten. He loved Ted.
Stanley, could you make more noise? I just need the attention. So this is the grass seed we put out the other day, and it is coming out in some places, doing pretty well. But I'm going to go ahead and put some more out today. Try to get this a little more full. But the hay is actually working perfectly, keeping everything down, keeping the seed in place. And we've had a lot of good rain, so we're gonna have to water this time for sure, because we're not getting quite as much rain next week. So wish us luck through this delicate time. We had a question the other day. Somebody was having trouble getting their stops in. They're easy enough to get out. Basically, if you dig into them, you're not going to reuse them for the most part. So dig into them, pull them, you can get them out. And you can get these pretty much any hardware store. These are 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch boards. And they're pretty consistent depending on how old your house is. So this being a much older house, I've actually had to run these through the planer for most of the windows in the front. It's going so far into this one pretty easily. And if you've got Victorian or past or newer than that, then you're probably gonna have a more consistent fit, and it usually should fit on that 5-inch.
You want to
side.
tell them why it would be more consistent after the Victorian era?
Because everything wasn't as, you had...
It's called the Industrial Revolution,
Yeah,
and everything is mechanized rather than
everything is
handmade.
way more uniform.
Right.
When they were doing this, they made the hole as big as they needed to make the hole, because they were cutting this new anyway. So they cut it to fit. That's why they numbered everything, so that they would make sure that one went into that window, because it was all custom.
But after the Industrial Revolution, you've got mechanized, really you've got Henry Ford assembly line kind of everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Even the windows and the stops and all of it get a little bit more uniform than they were in 1830.
So a couple things too about getting these in, even when they do fit. Now they're gonna be snug, and you want them snug. But what you'll run into is this one's actually huge. It's going to slide right in. But some of them are very snug. And so what you'll want to do is get an end in, and once you've got that one in, work your way up. Now don't hit this thing with a hammer, because this is exposed wood. This is finished wood. So you're going to want to put a 2x4 up against it. So once you've got that in, then you start working it up. Now, one thing you'll find...
Show them how to hold the 2x4, because that's not how you hold the 2x4 when you hammer.
Huh?
You hold it. You don't hold it like they hold it flush.
You do it like this.
Yeah.
Nail it or hammer it like this. So that way you're getting a flat fit on here, and it's not knocking the heck out of this board. So I forgot what I was going to say then. But
sorry.
So what you will find is that if these warp at all, if they're out. So if this is, say it's on the back a little bit, and you're trying to nail it in down here, it's just going to keep hitting this, and it's not going to go in, because it's basically bouncing off this other wood. So that's why you've got to go in gradually. You kind of put it in there, and then you put it in there until you get it all the way up, and then you'll eventually fit it in. And unfortunately, if you have one that absolutely will not go, you'll really need to plane it. And I know not everybody's walking around with a planer set up. So, I mean, in that instance, then you can you make sure you've got all your paint clear, because that'll hold it out too. But, I mean, use the sander, I guess, to try to get it in.
Well, there are also hand planers.
Yeah.
You forget that there are hand planers. We're spoiled because we have a big Mamma Jamma planer sitting down there.
This one is just slide. I've never had one go in this easily. But, this one is just really sliding in.
Well, it's actually going in a little too far. Yeah, we're going to have to work on that.
So I'll space it correctly so that...
You can show them how far it should stick out. It should stick out as far as your blind
It sticks out about 3/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
And so, again, the purpose of this is to keep the top sash in place. It rides here, up and down, all the way. And then you put your front sash here, and then you have another stop that goes in front of it. So that's how you keep them where they go. Yes. So I know I just said that the parting bead usually comes out pretty easily, and this one did. I'm in the dining room now, but let me show you the opposite side. This is what I'm getting on the opposite side, just coming out splinter by splinter. I can't get a full piece, so this is not optimal. It was nailed in, but the other one was nailed in too, and it still popped out. But this one is causing me grief.
Oh no, dropped your water.
Trying to get this sash out so I can get this ridiculous stop out that will not come out. And I can beat it a little harder without the window being there. And can't find my window zipper, which is what you use to cut the paint between the window. And I mean, it's thick paint.
As we've demonstrated.
As we've demonstrated.
Very thick
So
paint.
I am going to use this oscillating saw. It's actually working pretty good so far, but I'm going to have to get outside on the scaffolding to finish it up.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Why not? But I can't reach it all from here. So
All right.
that's what's happening now.
Well, show us a
Using
little
a tool
bit.
that I shouldn't be using for a.
Give us a little demonstration of something you're doing you shouldn't be doing.
This is how not to do it. Actually works better than the window zipper though.
See, surgical precision.
Huh?
Surgical precision.
Exactly.
This seems fully safe. It's entirely like the way scaffolding is meant to be used.
What?
I mean, I know that we joke that you have monkey arms, but I don't know that they're meant for you to cling on to a scaffolding quite literally like a capuchin monkey.
This is what's happening.
I don't think this is OSHA approved.
You don't think?
I really
Don't
feel
try this
not.
at home.
Do not try this at home.
Well,
But the thing that people should know about us is that we're going to do what we're going to
you
do.
gotta do what you gotta do to get it done.
Well,
That's a good saying right there. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
are you?
You gotta do what you gotta do to get it done.
Okay, we're going to hope
I
that,
like that.
I'm not writing your obituary sometime later this afternoon.
Okay.
This is another do
His
as we
last
do,
words
not as we
were,
say.
You gotta do
what you got to do to get it done.
And then he didn't get it done.
And then I had to do it anyway.
What'd you find? What'd you find? What'd you find? What'd you
I
find?
love it when I'm just strolling up to the house.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to zoom in on it. Hold it in front. Let's see.
And I look down, and the ground just delivers me some history,
Yeah?
and my favorite history. This is what I get the most excited
You can
about.
stop doing this now.
I thought you were zooming in on it.
I did.
Oh.
All right.
But if I move it, then it won't focus on it anymore.
Under twin power.
Activate! That is green feather edge, the earliest and it goes in the pocket to go in the pile.
The pile of all the shards.
Yes.
They've seen how many shards there are.
But the problem is, it's also the hardest to locate on the open market
Yeah.
in 2025. I think I have 5 dinner plates, and I need 12.
So if you're out there shopping,
And you find a green feather edge dinner plate, hook a sister up.
that makes a nice birthday gift for Lane.
Well, I mean, I will happily pay
Yeah.
for green feather edge plates. I just need somebody to help me find them. And I'm looking for like the 10 3/4 inch. But at this juncture, any plates. So that's what we're looking for. But
There
I was
you
I
go.
was just walking up here to help you
Mobilize.
hang a window. We're just going to hang a window. And look what happened. It was very exciting.
Yeah. Okay, and
Goodbye.
then apples.
No, we're going to talk about that separately.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yes. Okay. Hello.
Hello, people of the nation. You should know by now that I know a lot of things about a lot of things. And if I have something that I care about and love very much, I'm really going to know a lot of things about it to make sure that I'm taking good care of the thing that I love. I know so much about dogs and dog health that I usually go to my vet and tell him what's wrong with my dog. Have I ever been wrong? Like, I don't
Never.
remember.
Not since we've been married.
Well, no, I mean, for that. Like, you go with me to
I-
the vet,
I
and I
don't
usually
remember.
go in, and Greg goes, yeah, that's exactly what it
Yeah,
is. Anyway,
I know.
even
I
when
know
we
they hate
obscure
that, but
things-
anymore, it feels like the doctor for us, the doctor for dogs, we know going ahead.
Well, the doctor for me, I don't know as much, but for the doctor for the dog, I'm going to know. So, I appreciate that you love and are worried about our pupperinos very much. And I appreciate that you love and appreciate and are worried about our pupperinos enough to message me about apples and being concerned about us letting our pupperinos eat the apple cores. We are aware that apple seeds can be used to derive cyanide, and we are aware that cyanide is a very strong poison and that it will kill a pupperino dead. However, we are also aware that it would take 200 apples, consuming the apple seeds from 200 apples, to make a medium-sized dog sick. Jack and Stanley, Jack is not a medium-sized dog. It would take considerably more than 200 apples. Jack is a medium-sized dog, so should he eat 200 apples, he would probably perish from the apple seeds. They also have to chew the seeds, and with Jack and Stanley, they either don't eat them or they are swallowing them whole. They're not chewing the seeds. But I can assure you they are getting 1 small apple a day. And so if they're getting the core and the seeds from 1 small apple a day, it's going to pass right through their digestive system, and it's not going to hurt them at all. They love their apple. The apple seeds from 1 apple are not hurting them. I would just also like all of you to know that the seeds of 200 apples is enough cyanide to kill a decent-sized man.
Uh-oh.
So there's that info for you too.
Good thing I'm extra large.
Exactly. Can you imagine me having to trying to buy enough apples to get the apple seeds to make enough cyanide to kill
I
you?
think I eat that many apples. I've already had 2 today.
Yeah, but I mean, how long would it take for me? I mean, how incredibly suspicious would that be if I came home lugging like 600 apples? I was like, don't mind me. I just have a little project in the kitchen to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Just a little chemistry I've got going on
Yep.
in here. Look away from this while I get my beakers and tubes out. So anyway, thank you for being worried about our babies, but they're going to be just fine eating those little tiny green apples and the apple seeds. They're probably way more in danger from prescription drugs in the house, dark chocolate in the house,
Crazy kittens.
Crazy kittens in the house. No, they're not in trouble from kittens, but I'm like actual threats to their health there are many more that we have to watch for than the
We've
4
been
apple
through
seeds.
all of it.
Right?
Made them puke.
They
Tell them about the
pop.
poppy seeds.
No, they weren't poppy seeds. They
Oh,
were
the
morning glory seeds.
morning glories.
That was the
That was
most
about
hysterical.
15 years ago, probably.
Oh, that was Inky and Blue. So I bet that was 20 years ago. We were newly in our
No,
house.
it was Lucky Day.
No.
Lucky
Well, it
Day.
was
We had Lucky Day and Blue and Inky,
And
but
Inky.
Blue and Lucky Day and
Inky
are the
who
only
ate
ones
them.
that ate them.
But so that is easy 20 years ago. You forget how we've been married 29 years.
Oh no.
That was easy 20 years ago.
Okay.
I love morning glories. And I was about to plant some morning glories. And I had morning glory seeds in my den. This is early in our pet ownership, so I did not yet know a lot of things about pet ownership. And we were gone one night and we came home and the morning glory seeds were open. And Inky, who is a Pomeranian, and Lucky Day, who is a dog we found at the hospital, were pupils dilated,
High
panting.
as a
They
kite.
were tripping. And Blue, our husky, our Malamuskie, she was half Malamute, half husky, is over in the corner looking at us like, I don't know what they got into. I
Yeah,
didn't do
those
that.
idiot children.
Those idiot children. So we rushed him. That's how we met our vet, Greg Hartman. He had newly graduated from vet school. He was in his first job. He was the one on call in the middle of the night. Rush him to the vet, and he tells us that Morning Glory seeds do the same thing to dogs that LSD does to humans. So our dogs were legit tripping. They were on the craziest trip of their lives. But I gave them activated charcoal and Valium, because Valium is an antispasmodic and it can help if they're going to have a seizure. Activated charcoal absorbs whatever's in their system.
They were fine, but boy, they were flying
Oh
that
my
night.
God. I will never forget coming in, and Inky's little eyes were huge, all dilated.
Whoa,
They were
something
both
happened,
panting, and like stumbling around. And
I know.
looking back on it, it's hilarious, but it was terrifying at the time. But it was,
And they had on tie-dyed shirts, which was crazy.
and they had eaten everything in the house. It was
Yeah,
weird. I don't
man.
know the weird things that happened when
They were listening to
took
fish.
on
or-
LSD.
Tell them how we're communicating today.
Yelling randomly at each other. Look, for somebody who has misophonia, that like noises really
Like that.
like that, I'm about to lose my ever-loving mind
Yeah.
today. But I am also trying to get broken glass out of this frame without damaging the
I don't know if they're gonna hear anything you're
glass.
saying.
Well, get closer to me. That close. I'm trying to get it out, this piece out, and all this glazing off without breaking this wonderful piece that's 200 years old and has a great bubble in the middle. But I don't know if it's a good time to be working on this because I'm in such a foul mood from the noise.
Sound of progress, like you said the other day.
It is not, this is the sound of something that should have been done 3 weeks ago.
Well,
Are you headed to Natchez for one of our many year-round festivals? Balloon races, music events, Christmas tree lighting, parades, historic home tours, historic cemetery tours. Natchez, Mississippi has so much to offer year-round, but we know when you get here, you're going to be looking for an absolute charming place to stay. And that's where we think at Absolute Charm Vacation Rentals, we have just the place for you. Anything from a beautiful, charming southern front porch overlooking the majestic Mississippi River, perfect for sunsets, sunrises, to an intimate, cozy cottage with a private hot tub, pet-friendly places, family-friendly places, and girlfriend, get-out-of-town, getaway places. We have it all at Absolute Charm Vacation Rentals. So we invite you to go to our site, absolutecharm.com/Natchez, and we look forward to seeing you in Natchez, Mississippi real soon.
okay, tell us.
Well, right now, I'm going to tell you that there is nothing worse than getting old hardware that's been painted a million, zillion times off of a window. Getting the glass out is horrible, but this is worse. Lots of you are commenting what a great idea we had to faux bois all the doors in the house and the front doors, and you're giving us lots of credit for that being our idea. It's not our idea, it's how it was originally. So when the fire happened, maybe you can go back and find some old footage. That's going to be a little bit of an edit, but I bet you've got some. When the fire happened, the
Look.
fire was so intensely hot that it literally did a lot of paint removal for us. Show them that window over there, pan over there, and they can see what happened to the enamel paint, the latex paint. So just show that really quickly. So all that black is popping off. Here, come back.
Was latex paint.
Was latex paint. And so all of the years of latex paint that had been, latex paint was invented in the 1940s, in case anybody was wondering. So since the 1940s, this house has gotten layers and layers of latex paint that was all bubbled up and coming off after the fire. And one of the things we discovered was that all of the exterior doors and all of the interior doors had originally been honey oak faux bois. Very vernacular in style, very simple style. Another example of this house, this very simple territorial house that was way out in the country in 1830, trying to mimic the super high style Greek revival trends of that day. And almost getting there, but like not quite. It's great. So that's why we've got Austin here doing the faux bois, the honey oak faux bois on all the doors, and there'll be all the exterior doors and all the interior doors in the main house. Not in the L. We're gonna get that fancy over in the L, but we had to put them back here. So I'd love to take credit for it as though it's our brilliant idea, but it was a brilliant idea 200 years ago.
200
years ago. That's
Yeah.
crazy, isn't it?
It is.
Also, I'm bleeding.
Oh no.
That means I'm doing it right, though.
She blooded,
So,
which
we'll
means
just
she's getting DNA.
put a little DNA in the house right there.
That's what we do. That's how you do it.
What'd you do, Kevin?
Stop it.
What'd you do?
The second time I did this in the dining room too. Do you remember?
No, did you do? Where else did you do it?
At one of the windows in the dining room. I get a little anxious and I put it in the stops before I put it in the window.
He got a little excited. He got a little ahead of himself.
So it's not gonna go. I'm gonna have
No.
to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take out one of them at least.
Yep. Sure enough. I can't leave him unsupervised, y'all. I left him unsupervised for like 30 minutes.
I'm gonna choke that guy's neck.
Frustrated. And if you do things when you're frustrated,
I'm gonna be
that's
frustrated
when
when
they
you
get
break
broken.
this board.
I've already pulled out the bottom.
I know
just
you have.
fine. And I'm going to get it.
You don't
I'm gonna
even know what you're doing.
Delicately do it because I'm not frustrated and you are, and that's when things go badly.
I'm not as mad as I was when I cut the ropes too short.
Oh, that was a bad day. People didn't see that. What are you going to do for me when I get this out in one piece? What do I get other than an apology?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Don't get anything.
Not a thing?
Well, we are fortunate too that these are the ones that fit so easily. Remember, they're like a
now
little
it's
big.
excuses? They didn't see the fit you threw before I made you turn the camera on about me not being able to pull it out. It's not possible. You're not gonna be able to do it. You won't do it. Let me do it.
Yay! Lane's the best.
I do the delicate.
I'm turning the
work.
camera off. Shut up.
I do.
All right.
This is a conversation we have regularly. Do you think people know how to do this?
Yeah. Do
Surely.
you think people know this?
Maybe
Maybe
they
not.
Maybe they don't. If you know how to do things, don't watch this. So, pulling out a nail, because there were a couple of nails in the stop that Lane so gingerly pulled out.
That's right.
So, these are pump pliers, and you're not going to take this and pull, you're going to take it and roll. And you use the torque to pull the nail out. Like that, comes out easily. So, you're using the
Leaves
pressure.
your board pretty damage free. And this
Yeah,
is a
that's the
tiny
inside anyway.
Well, this is a tiny, thin, lightweight, like it
Yeah.
almost feels like basswood
I
almost,
pulled
you
it
know.
through the back, so you're
Yeah.
not going to see that anyway. But so that is how you use this and use the torque to pull a nail out, as opposed to just trying to yank something.
Or using your hammer, which in this instance it'd be a little much for this tiny. Well, you couldn't get it because
Well,
there's no
yeah,
head, right?
there's no head because I'm pulling it out the back side. But
Yeah.
it's just these little, barely has a head because this is a finishing nail. So it
Yeah.
buries that anyway. So you wouldn't be able to get to it. So
Cool, man.
that's another thing that most of you probably knew.
And we're going to show you anyway.
We're gonna show you anyway.
Because if one of you doesn't know, learning's
The more you
what
know.
what does G.I. Joe teach us?
Knowing is half the battle.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got my leg. And I'm gonna use it to get as much sympathy as I can. All right.
Something like that.
What's happening?
Huh?
Do you need me on the line? These are really heavy.
Yeah, they are heavy.
Okay, hang on.
So, where are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go rush over.
Well, we're just going to secure our ropes real quick.
Here's a rope for you.
Yeah. Should I do the weights before I do
I
this?
feel like you should do the weights before you do this.
Okay, I need to do the
Uh-oh,
weights.
we're already out of order.
I'm telling you, if a week goes by, I forget how to do things.
Maybe it's the heat
Yeah, we'll blame the heat.
and
Sure.
dehydration.
Yeah, sure.
Massive dehydration. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Now, the top sash has to be pulled into place, so you need the weights a little heavier. So they say just like a pound heavier than the top sash. So we're going to see if we can weigh this.
Using my good
Oh,
scale.
look at that dirt. There we go. Let's see. 24.2.
24.2.
So we're looking for 25.2. And I'm afraid we're not going to get it.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
We're not gonna get anywhere close.
No, that's not going to do it, is it? Well, shoot, kicked off.
Well, I would
So,
say
I'd
it's
say
gonna be
that's
15 pounds.
15 pounds probably.
Yep. That looks like we're going to the architectural salvage store to buy window weights.
I guess so.
Because these are not, we should be clear, these are not the proper window weights. These are for the windows in the L.
Let me weigh these over here.
Okay.
Am I destroying this?
You are. I told you not to use my good scale, but you said you were gonna use my good scale, so.
Well, that's the only scale we have. So
All
let
right.
me weigh these and see. How much they weigh.
Riveting television.
They have the smaller ones.
You said the smaller ones are at the top, the larger ones are at the bottom. That is what you told me yesterday. But remember, the glass previously was very thin hand-blown glass, and now we've got tempered glass. So
Trying not to just drop this on
extraordinary.
here.
Well, it's a glass scale. Nope.
8. Well, we got trouble. Trouble in River City.
Looks like we're gonna need some of our little add-on weights.
Well, those aren't going to be enough. I'll put them back down at most.
Here.
Yeah, that is nothing. Might be, these together might be pound.
No pounds. No pounds, no ounces. Okay, well, it looks like we're gonna be going to the architectural salvage place tomorrow.
Yep. Window's not going in today, Chica.
It's never going in. I've given up on it.
Don't give up on it.
They'll be back sawing and being loud tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, okay. So that's what happened.
That's what happened today.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.